Good day and happy Christmas if you watch on Planet Vegetarian, because this will be uploaded as a segment on Christmas Day, and a belated happy Christmas if you watch on YouTube. It is in fact Christmas Day, so this is a day that I would normally be coming down, and I'd be taking parsnips, taking carrots, taking Brussels sprouts, and then doing the usual picking of brassicas, which I've done, some Portuguese cabbage. And of course this year, because we haven't sown any parsnips or Brussels sprouts or carrots for the winter, I'm not doing those first three. I'm not harvesting those first three at all. So we do have some Portuguese cabbage which I've picked, which I'm very grateful for, and we've got some salad leaves which will be actually slightly bitter because that plant is going to seed, but for what I'm going to use it for later on today, this evening, be a salad, and the bitter leaves will be quite nice with what I'm going to be doing. So yeah, I'm grateful for having lettuce as well, which is super. And of course I've got parsley here which I'm going to be picking as well to put into our nut roast. So yeah, it's a bit of a funny Christmas. It's sort of, I was doing sort of fine. Of course it's first Christmas with me not having any parent, because mum is of course no longer around, though she's still here. And you know, it's first Christmas where Richard and I have not had parents that we've been able to phone and say, you know, happy Christmas, at least one of those parents. So it feels a little bit different, but it feels fine. You know what, it's okay, it's the way of life. And I think it's important to understand that, particularly on these special days where lots of people are coming together, lots of families coming together. We need to appreciate that not all families are the same, not all families love being together, and of course not all families have all family members around them. So to everyone who is enjoying, or hopefully enjoying today in whatever way you are feeling best to, I hope it goes well. I've bumped into various people on a quiet Christmas Day morning coming down here, so it took me about half an hour to get down here, and then I went into my shed as I normally do, and there was a lovely Christmas card for me there, saying dear Richard and Paul, and hopefully a more optimistic 2024. Paul, thank you for being such fabulous, fun, friendly, feisty fella down the allotment way. And that's from obviously from allotment people here. And I must say I've had quite a few cards from individuals down here this year. I think it's sort of that thing of nobody really expected me to be here, including us, this Christmas Day, and I think a few people have gone, oh yeah, we'll give Paul a Christmas card this time, which is lovely. But I'm not really going to do anything down here. I just came down to do that harvest and have a little sort of walk down and a bit of fresh air before I go back and start doing the veggies which we bought for lunch, and also the Portuguese cabbage. And the salad leaves will sit in our fridge in that plastic bag until we wash them and then use them this evening, and they'll be nice and fresh. So there were quite a few slugs there, and partly because I haven't done my usual of taking the dead leaves off the lettuce as the lettuce have died. So that's my fault. You know, the slugs see that and go, yeah, there's a nice meal, it's already sort of decaying and we'll get in there and help it. So I think one of the jobs I'll be doing over the coming days is taking the nets off the brassicas and removing the dead and the dying leaves from any of our brassicas, leaving only the fresh growth going. So yeah, we'll do that in maybe a day or so. In fact, I think I've got quite a busy week coming up. Maybe we might do a bit of that on maybe do a bit of that tomorrow, who knows. Yeah, or it'll be later in the week. and a bit of tidying generally. I've still got the buddleia to move that I put down here when I cut the poly buddleia back. I've had it there because there's been lots of sort of robins sort of darting in and out of that. I think that's become a bit of a habitat for creatures that robins sort of quite like, maybe like woodlice and things like that. So they've been enjoying that, but they have quite a few other things now that they can enjoy. So I think it's time to start getting on top of my plot, but that can wait for a day or so. Anyway, I'm going to go. Whatever you're doing today, or whatever you have done today, I hope you have enjoyed it, and I'll see you again very soon. Happy Christmas. Bye. Good day. I decided to get on with some tidying and have removed the buddleia, and also just done a bit of clearing in these beds just next to us, and then I decided to crack on and weed that bed that we're looking at now. So I'm just I've taken all of the grass out, and I've shaken all of the soil off, and as you can see there's a wheelbarrow of detritus which needs to go into a compost bin, but they all really need to be emptied. So I think what I'm going to do is just cover this bed in cardboard, weight it down with various things, and then later in the week or maybe next week I will look at emptying one of the compost bins on top of the cardboard that I'm about to lay. So yeah, it's there's a lot of couch grass, as you can see, beyond that bed. It's an area that I hadn't kept on top of, and my ambition in this growing year is to try and get on top of the plot and keep on top of the plot, and that means I'm going to be doing some minor weeding later in the week. But minor weeding is good because hopefully it will reduce major weeding a few weeks or months later. Anyway, I'm going to go into the decrepit shed and get cardboard out. Right, that's sort of job done for today, I think. There are some, you can just see up here, maybe here, some bluebell bulbs, and I'm just going to pop them in the bed here. So I'll do that before I go, and then I need to figure out where I'm going to put all of that detritus that's in the bin, because that needs to go into a compost bin. So that's that job done, that bed done. There's most probably 20 times as much of that to do, not in terms of 20 beds, but in terms of the work that I need to get done or want to get done in the next few months, let's say through to the beginning of March. So I hope that I'm going to have some time in the new year for the first couple of months where I'll be able to get down here and do a couple of hours work on a very regular basis. Anyway, I did actually, one of my fellow plotters came over and we talked about rhubarb, and she suggested something, so I have a mind to do what she suggested, but we'll have to wait till later in the week for that, or maybe next week. Anyway, that's it for today's segment, and I will most probably see you later in the week. Well, I will see you later in the week, but exactly when later in the week it will be, I don't know at this moment. Hopefully, see you very soon. Bye. Good day. I've just given this rhubarb a cursory weed, very cursory weed. It really needs to be taken back to bare root. But one of my plot neighbours suggested that I force some rhubarb this year, and I thought by doing this it might also reduce the vigour of weeds. So yeah, I thought, why not? So I gave it a weed, brought the pot into the greenhouse, added some fresh compost on top, which is from the compost centre, which is sort of high in horse manure and horse bedding. And then I put this metal bin on top. I was going to put another bucket, black bucket, on top, and then I realised that I think this one is a 35 or 40 litre, so the others that I've got, which I think are 30 litre, they won't block out as much light. So yeah, I thought I had this metal bin, so I will use it. So that's what I've done. So basically it's blocking out the light to force the rhubarb when it grows, and you may have seen there are some shoots there already, force the rhubarb up, and without light it's supposed to sweeten the rhubarb quite a bit. You may have heard about the rhubarb triangle up north, where they grow a huge amount of rhubarb in huge sheds, and they usually pick by candlelight because it's not a strong light. Basically they block out light from the rhubarb sheds completely, and then they pick by candlelight, and it's really eerie standing in the sheds because you hear the growth of the rhubarb as you're standing in those blackened out sheds, because they squeak as the stalks rub against each other. They squeak. I don't think we're going to be able to hear any squeaking going on in this greenhouse with this rhubarb, but who knows? Who knows? I thought it was worth a try. So that's another little trial of nothing ventured, nothing gained. We'll see what comes of it. You know, I think we will get some forced rhubarb. Whether it will be delicious and wonderful, we shall wait and see. I've been wanting to get these rhubarbs into the ground for quite some time, but when a plot holder said to me, you know, why don't you force some in your greenhouse, I thought that's a really good idea. So there we are. And I'm down here today. It's Sunday. It's the last day of 2023. It's New Year's Eve. And as you may be able to see, it's sort of pretty breezy. In fact, last night was really quite windy, and even though there isn't a storm declared at the moment, Storm Gerrit that we had earlier in the week, the winds that we got on the site here from that, because we were really just on the edge of it, they were strong, but not as strong as the winds we had yesterday. I think we had about 47 kilometers an hour yesterday, and they were about 45 with Storm Gerrit. So yeah, you know, do watch out for your local weather forecast, because you might need to sort of go down to your plots and you know, hunker things down. When I did come down after Storm Gerrit, there was nothing sort of blowing about on my plot. Around the site there were a few things that are blown about, and we were able to sort of put them on the right plot, apart from one thing which I have no idea where the item came from. I won't go into what it was, but what the item where it came from. I'm sure it wasn't one of our plots. So yeah, so I'm down today. It's New Year's Eve. It's the last day of 2023. And boy, what a 2023 it has been for us, you know, in so many ways. I know we've talked about this on Sunday Chat and various other things, and in our newsletters. You know, it's really been a bit of a roller coaster 2023 for us, as I know it has been for many. Though, as I say regularly, our situation is privileged and comforted in many, many ways. Other people around the world, through no fault of their own, are in far, far worse situations, and grave, dangerous situations as well, through no fault of their own. And to all of those people, I hope we have a better 2024. But yes, yesterday was our Christmas social in the community shed. So we have that each Christmas social. And it's usually between Christmas and New Year on a Saturday, if it falls sort of well, or maybe just nudging into the New Year otherwise. And it was really lovely. So I was down here very early yesterday. Well, not too early, 10 o'clock yesterday, to get the communal shed sort of cleared a bit, and tables put to the side and chairs around, and somebody came and put decorations up. There was a sort of team of us. There was about 8 people who got the event ready, and then I went home and made some mulled cider, which was absolutely lovely. And the glorious thing about our mulled cider is that the cider that it was made from, all of our apples from last year in the orchard were used in the making of this cider. That's in 2022. So our orchard apples here are collected by a Pembrokeshire cider company, made into cider, and we get cider back that we can use at our socials, which is absolutely lovely. So yes, the some of the apples that were included in that cider were our own apples. So you know, how fantastic is that? So I made that in the afternoon, and then people started turning up around 4 o'clock. And we had about 40 people in total who turned up, maybe a few more. And people brought sort of food and drink to share. There was some fantastic baked goods, as there always is. We got some amazing bakers on site. And yeah, it was just lovely. And, you know, some people came right at the beginning and stayed for an hour and then left. Other people were there for the whole time, plus sort of beyond me. I left about 6:30, and there were people that sort of stayed till later. Other people came a little bit later and just stayed for an hour and then went. So it was a really lovely occasion, and many people have commented that they feel it's quite a special event that goes on here, which is interesting that people have commented that, because they generally say that about most of the events that we do as a community allotment site. So yeah, that's nice. And other lovely thing, before I came down, or before I visited the plot, I went to the communal shed just to do a bit of tidying up. And when I went in there, it was already pretty tidy, and I just got a black bag out and threw a few things away, put other things into a bag for recycling. And they'll be going home with me tomorrow, I think, because I do need to take back the flasks that had the mulled cider in, which is now empty, both of them, so that I can wash those at home and have them prepared for the next event, which is going to be a work social in about 2 weeks' time, followed by a wassailing, where there'll be further mulled cider in those flasks. But first of all, for the work social a week before that, the flask will have hot water for teas and coffees. Anyway, look, it is New Year's Eve. Whatever you are doing on New Year's Eve, I know you'll see this on New Year's Day or later, but whatever you're doing on New Year's Eve, I hope you do or have enjoyed it. And let's hope for a good 2024. Let's hope for peace in 2024. I think that's really what I hope for. Peace and calmness around the world, and certainly, you know, within the communities that we are part of, which of course includes all of you watching as well. Anyway, Happy New Year, and I will see you, if you're on Planet Vegetaria, I will see you in about 24 hours, because it will be New Year's Day and there's a new calendar to put up. And if you're watching this on YouTube, I'll see you in about a week's time. Whatever is happening this New Year's Eve at your gardens, your growing space or your allotment, I hope it is calm and you're enjoying it. And I will see you very soon in 2024. Happy growing. Bye.